Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Thursday, March 16th, 2023 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is, it's out of my control, so I'm going to coast for a little while. It's brought to you by a song called Coast, and it's a few people singing it, but I think one of the bands is Gone Beyond. And I was listening to that and I was like, oh, that is actually the perfect song, and that is the perfect mantra, in most ways, for today's astro. We are in the throes of transformation today. We have the transformation card, and oh my goodness, this is a lot. This is one of the things that I love about doing the Astro Daily, is every step is intentional, and even when it's a lot, we have an astro feast. We are meant to have this astro feast because we want to bring together all these ingredients because it's a certain kind of alchemy. That being said, it's not easy for us here on the ground trying to juggle dinner. So, our cosmic dinner. So let's dig in. We start the day with the moon in Capricorn squaring some of our Aries energies. It's squaring Chiron. It's squaring Jupiter. And it's not going to reach a Venus square before Venus shifts into Taurus. We have Venus moving into Taurus. But Venus is at 29 degrees, so Venus doesn't even need that lunar square. Venus is already feeling fired up. In that square between the moon in Capricorn and Chiron and Jupiter, we may be feeling those challenges between who we are and how we're healing and how we still feel the world wants us to show up, or where the world is showing us, like, you need to show up in this way, in these old patriarchal patterns. And it can feel stressful and it can feel shameful. And Venus at 29 degrees Aries is not having it and is ready to throw some fireballs at this energy, which, let's be fair, sometimes we need a little fireball, but tend to your inner volcanoes, right? Venus in Aries, the words I'm getting, Venus in Aries desperately wants to know worth. And that's why Venus in Aries is moving into Taurus, because in Taurus, Venus is going to learn worth. But Venus in Aries is feeling that tension between who they are and who the world is trying to make them be, right? And so be aware of that in this energy, that you may feel that tension. And in that, we are called to step into our worth, to know that even more so. But we may not. We may feel that challenge. We may feel that tension. So that's how we kick off the morning. And then we move into some foggy times as Mercury and Neptune collide in Pisces. So we may have some esoteric oneness understanding coming. But Neptune's coming off of that square with Mars, and here goes Mercury into that square with Mars. And so we may find that settling for a second, and then it's like, here we are, challenged by what we see in the world again. That's the thing. Who you are and who the world wants you to be are at odds, because the world is not operating from soul right now. The world is operating from a lot of distorted ideas about what living is. And so it's hard. It's hard to embrace our soul and live a soulful life in a world that is not doing the same. And yet we can stand and be the soul of the place, right? But be aware of that you might keep feeling that challenge between living from your soul and falling into line, basically. More of this energy. Sun squaring Mars as well. The sun in Pisces. And anytime we have like the sun and Mars squaring, especially as Mars is finishing up in Gemini, we may find areas where we are being incongruent to our own flow, to our own personal truth, in the name of curiosity, in the name of, they're doing it looks fun and I want to do it, and other energies like that. So be aware of that in this square. You may feel places where you don't line up. It may also be just that chameleon effect. It may be that twin effect. We are affected by the energies that we surround ourselves with. So there's a lot of ways that we can find ourselves getting kind of pulled. In my mind, I'm saying off course. But in my heart, I'm feeling, what are those things called? When they take you, my brain is so tired from tripping over planets today. When you're not meant to take the main road, and you take, something else that they guide you on. We all have to take those sometimes. Sometimes we're not meant to take the main road, and it's okay. The universe is like, shut that down. Shut that down. That's why I can't get the word. That's coming from my heart. We go through these times, and it is okay. Anyway, we then have Venus squaring Pluto. Pluto in its last week before shifting into Aquarius. Now, Pluto will be back. Pluto will be coming back in early 2024. Oh, and actually, that's not true. Pluto's coming back in June. June 30th to Capricorn. It's going back in early 2024 into Aquarius. So we have our first jaunt of Pluto into Aquarius. But before, it's gonna bring that square. And that's part of that Venus energy. Feeling out of the power. And that's where I was like, I don't know about this song when it comes to this. But I think there's a different thing between control and power. And I think a lot of times we associate them together. I associate them together because a lot of times they do go hand in hand in this world. It can be out of your control, and you can still be in your power. So keep that in mind as we have this Pluto-Venus square. You always have the power, and there are always pieces that you can work, I hate the word control, but you can work that energy of control around. So keep that in mind. That could be challenging in relationships. It can be challenging in any place where you do not feel your power. And rather than fight about the control, recognize where you can stand in your power. Venus and Aries, ahoy! Yes, 29 degrees energy. Venus then will shift into Taurus at 3:34 p.m. Like I said, Venus wanting to know and understand worth on a deeper level with Venus moving into Taurus. And I do think that that's going to be lovely and needed. And we'll dig into that a little bit more. But do keep in mind, once Venus moves into Taurus at 3:34 p.m., Venus will be at 0. While at that point, most of the turbulence of the day is over, we still have a little bit more, and we're still in the essence of it. As I choke myself. Excuse me.
What?
Maybe?
Wow.
Excuse me. Whew. Okay, I am okay. I inhaled too fast, and I can't edit this out, so just be with me while I... Thanks, baby. While I try to breathe again. Woo! Venus in Taurus will be nice, but we still have Mercury and Mars squaring, and maybe not wanting you to be able to understand or say what you need to say, like I am feeling in this moment. Woo!
Take a sip.
I know. Cheers. A seltzer. Grapefruit. That is better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mercury and Mars will reach their exact square at 9:48 p.m. So again, there's still more conflict between the soul and the way the world is showing up right now. And it's really hard to feel yourself in the middle. And so just recognize this transformation energy is ongoing through the day. And you may feel this as Mercury finishes up in Pisces, because some of this is also karmic. Ding! Karmic in the nature of this. And so just, again, keep that in mind as we go through into Friday, into the weekend. The transformation is going on with us. I do want to talk about Venus in Taurus. What I'm going to say for now, because this is going a little long, and I want to breathe again, is Venus in Taurus is a pleasure seeker. And pleasure is part of our human and soul experience here. But we all need to learn to do it in balance and in alignment, even more importantly. That's a key right there. So keep that in mind, and keep that in mind with North Node in Taurus. Are you lining up with your values? Or are you lining up with pleasure because, again, the world's like, do this, have some fun, tune out, right? Because Venus and Taurus can easily go into that tuned out place, but Venus and Taurus definitely wants you here, feet on the ground. All right, besides the transformation card, we do have the Hermit card. And I would say with that Venus Pluto square, this would be wise to take a little time in your own energy. We may not be feeling particularly trustful in this energy between the world and the universe and all of that, or looking for the good so much. Like I said, this energy is turbulent. It is not fun. But I encourage you to lean into trust of yourself, lean into trust of the universe, knowing there's something unfolding beyond what we know and understand, and look for the good because it's there even in the turbulence, and root in the source card, root into source, root into yourself, root into the ground, root into your values, and know the challenging astro passes, just like my coughing fit did. So, and I finally got the word detour. Wow. So, all that just for a little detour. That is it for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.